Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to talk about keychain knives. You know, them little tiny knives you put on your keychain. Can you even get a keychain knife anymore? Does anybody even use a keychain knife? So we're going to talk a little bit. I'm going to show you some oldies and talk about the history of those just a tad bit. And also we're going to look at some modern ones and just kind of look at keychain knives. It's a little different. Hope to see you in the video. Hey, welcome back to the Fortified Castle. I am rushing through the video here because at 5 o'clock I've got a live show. I'm going to have Patty's Tailor Peeler there and also the Knife Doctor. So hope to see you guys at that live show. It's going to be interesting. If you can't make it, go ahead and watch the video later. That's what I like to do anyhow. Before I get into this, let me just say hi to all my viewers. Thank you for your support, all your likes, your shares, and your comments. And so I was going to show these little tiny knives. I'm not sure whether I've ever done it before. And I mean, these are little tiny knives. And when a knife is this small, I call it a keychain knife. And that's exactly what these are for. So you can see this is not even an inch and a half. And that's what most of these are that you see. They're around an inch and a half, inch and 3/8, something like that. These are really, really tiny knives. And I call those keychain knives. And so if you look at pen knives, Levin said pen knives go from about 2.5 all the way up to 3 1/4 inches. This is, I believe, 2 5/8, almost 2 3/4. It's a little over 2 5/8. That's what you see in these old pen knives. Is kind of like the smallest, right? Is 2.5 inches. As you get up in time, this is a Robeson penknife, and it is 2 3/4. You can see the Schrade Walden, which came along 35 years later, and it's 2 3/4. And so this is about the bottom size of a penknife. I looked for these little keychain knives in old catalogs, could not find them. Doesn't mean they didn't exist. Maybe they just weren't advertising them. But this little knife right here is an Imperial, and this knife is about 2 1/4, I think. Yeah, it's about 2 1/4 inch. And up in there, you can see the advertisement for this little knife right here. And these were called actually keychain knives. You see that in the description. The earliest I see these pop up is 1958. So maybe they came up a little earlier. But remember, pre-World War II, cars just weren't a big thing. People didn't really lock their houses. And so, you know, keys were kind of sparse. People didn't have a lot of need to carry keys. But later, as, you know, crime got worse and people started owning homes and driving cars, they started having keychains. And that's when this came out. But look how big this little knife is compared to this little knife right here. I think this is an Imperial also. And so this would be the size that keychain knives were typically around 2 1/4 inches or less. And I think when you go above that, when you go to 2.5 inches, you're into pen knife category, and we just call them pen knives. But what I found interesting as I was looking through, I did look at some hold on. Okay, couldn't remember the name. I did look at some fob knives, and so this is a fob knife. It's typical size for a fob knife. So if you'll look, there's not a lot of difference between the small penknife and a fob knife. And most of them were right around this size. The fob knives that I have examples of, they're a lot thinner, a lot less to them than a penknife. Penknife is a little more robust, but they're about the same size. And you can see here, compared to the keychain knife, it's even smaller than a fob knife. I thought that was pretty interesting. If you look traditionally, this is a fruit knife. These are little tiny delicate knives that people use, mainly ladies, to cut fruit with. But the thing you'll notice is, they're about that same size, right? Right in that bottom penknife size. And so these are really kind of amazing. Here's another knife. This dates pre-Civil War. And if we look at it, it's about the same size as the fruit knife. And it's about the same size as a modern penknife. This had 4 blades. And this was the old time penknife. Somebody would have put it in a little change purse or something like that to carry around with them. But these are a lot smaller, really tiny. What's amazing is they're pretty substantial. And so I'm not afraid of breaking this in any way. They're pretty well built and very simple, 1.5 inches and enough blade there. You can actuate all of these very easily. Some are cheaper than others. This is a United Cutlery from Japan. Most of these are from Japan. Here's a really cool one with a nice horse, and it's kind of like got brown eyes. You notice that? It's got copper in there for the eyes. That's kind of cool. But this is out of Japan. And the only one of these that's American is this one right here, which is an Imperial. It just says made in USA, but I'm pretty sure that's an Imperial right there. Could be a Colonial, but it's pretty well made. I think it's an Imperial. And it's one of the few that actually have brass liners. The rest of them are just steel. If you'll notice, just steel liners on there, or no liners whatsoever. This one doesn't really have liners in it. Yeah, little tiny liners. So, yeah, it's kind of interesting. So we actually still make these kind of knives. So as you look at these pictures, we're going to run through them real quick. So as you're looking at these pictures, there are a lot of different ideas as you look at these different pen knives that are available. Didn't spend a lot of time researching this. These popped up within like 5 minutes, and I just latched onto them. But it looks like a lot of major manufacturers, still offer keychain knives. Probably most of those are made in China, of course. But it just really surprised me, the number of keychain knives that are still out there. And so, it is alive. Well, would you carry a keychain knife? I carry this, and that's my keychain knife. So this is a little Leatherman. And if you look at this, I've never done this before, but for this video, I said, well, what's it like? The penknife is actually bigger, at least longer than the Leatherman. And what this Leatherman is like is maybe 2 little penknives. So if you took this knife, look, this knife is almost as wide as the Leatherman. So why not, carry a Leatherman? And of course, the The other answer to that, which I don't have on me, is the SD and SD Classic, which is about the same size as this Leatherman squirt. I like this. It gives me a blade. It gives me some other options there for bottle opening and stuff like that, but it also has some really nice pliers I use the heck out of. Still hasn't broke on me. Been using this thing 10 years, and I still use it, and you can tell it's kind of wore out. But so yeah, I really like carrying this on here. It's a little heavier than an SD Classic, but it gives me a little more capability, and I like that. And so before we leave, I wanted to show you these. This is one of the smallest little keychain knives pre-1940. It is, close to what these are right here. This is made by Somme, and this one was made in 1880, and you can see they're about the same size. Just crazy little sportsman's type knife on that. This had a corkscrew, awl, a blade, of course, and it has the buttonhole blade on it, used to help ladies put their gloves on. Let me see if I can get that out. I'm not gonna mess with it. Anyhow, yeah, so these are pretty small, but most of these bob knives and stuff were bigger. Anyhow, pretty interesting, the history and evolution of these things and how they went, and that we still have them, right? So we do. They may not look like this, but we really still have them. I wanted to show you this one. This is a Chinese-made multi-tool. It's pretty small. So you have all those multi-tools compacted down into the size of a 2 3/4 inch penknife. And it's a little thicker than this Leatherman, a little longer. But it would make a nice little keychain tool, really. Has scissors in it, bottle opener, can opener, blade, screwdriver, everything you need right there in a little compact size. So yeah, keychain knives are alive and well. Hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found it informative. I hope you join the live show today, or at least look at it sometime during the week. And it's going to be good. I hope it's going to be good. Really, man, I tell you what, I love Patty Potato Pillar, Stephen, and Kevin. He's just got it going on, man. So, two good co-hosts for the show, and I hope you enjoy it.